Now I get this. I get that I am coaching and working with people day in and day out and telling them that they are awesome for having polyamorous or non-monogamous relationships and that they should really own what they want and own their power. But even saying that to other people, I had never been able to give myself the same permission. Because for me, in my head, there was always this narrative about needing to be a good man. A good man is fidelitous. A good man is somebody who doesn't have sex outside of his marriage. A good man is somebody who keeps his sexual energy highly contained unless in very specific instances. And frankly, as somebody who is more predominantly attracted to men, I didn't want to become one of those gays. And I think you know what I mean by that. So hey, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kay. I'm a spiritual life coach, a tantric yogi. I run this YouTube channel and a private coaching practice called Ecstatic Self. And if you haven't yet, please go ahead and click subscribe down at the bottom so you can get updates about my weekly meditation classes and videos I'm posting. It's kind of my jam to dive into people's subconsciouses regarding sexual history and trauma and where they're holding themselves back, internal blocks, internal disconnections. I spend most of my day talking with clients about their personal power and owning every aspect of who they are. Imagine my surprise this week when my husband said to me, "I'm calling bullshit." There is so much of who you are and what you're attracted to and the power that you have inside of you that you are not owning, that you, Kay, are holding yourself back. I was a little shocked to realize it too. But let me take this back a step. Let me take this back a few weeks to when I had this vision of myself dying. Yep, that's right. And if you follow my YouTube channel, you might remember a video from a few weeks ago saying the end of my world. I really had this huge energetic sense that something was about to die. Me physically, spiritually, all I knew is that when I got my house finished being renovated, there was going to be some sort of huge spiritual transition, maybe me even leaving this earthly plane. Like I really told my husband, be prepared, I might kick the bucket. I really sensed that. What I didn't anticipate is what was about to die that I was sensing was in fact this identity, this good guy persona that I've been projecting for all my life without realizing it. That I had internalized so many messages from my mother and my family and society saying, you have to be non-sexual. You have to be monogamous. You have to keep it in your pants. You have to not make people feel uncomfortable. Frankly, you have to live in a way that feels diametrically opposed to this wild, feral, tantric, ecstatic being that you feel inside. So a little over 2 weeks ago, I got most of the work on the house done. My husband sent me off to Mexico to go spend a week on a beach, relaxing and trying to recover after spending a few months laying tile, laying hardwood, tearing out carpets, and basically being a construction maniac when I really had no idea what I was doing. Thankfully, the house turned out great despite that. So there I was, margarita in hand, sitting on my beach chair, and enjoying the sun on my skin, enjoying not having too many clothes on, which, as you can tell, I generally enjoy, when I realized that there were people around me who I really wanted to fuck. Pardon my language, but yeah, I wanted to have sex with them. There were these really kind of hot, recently graduated college women, there were some really super buff guys at the gym, and I was like, yeah, that looks fun. I'd be into that. Now, what you may or may not know is that was the first time in a long time I've allowed myself to voice those feelings. I have been more or less in a monogamous relationship for 6.5 years, with a few notable exceptions that I've talked about on this YouTube channel. And I'd always kind of felt that sexual interactions outside of the relationship would pull me away from my husband. Lo and behold, here I was in Mexico thinking, I don't feel that way right now. Actually, I feel like it would just be this beautiful, fun thing that leaves me feeling fulfilled and doesn't take anything away from him. My husband is this amazing guy, and I know that opening up our relationship was always something that he expressed interest in, but for my sakes, we'll just keep it between the two of us. I know that makes you happier. So I came home from Mexico, and one of the first words out of my mouth in the car to him were, are you feeling fully sexually fulfilled? Are you feeling fully satisfied? Part of me knew that the answer was he would like more, but he seemed really content. The thing that I didn't realize was how much I had been negating my own desires and needs and wants because I had considered them socially unacceptable. Now I get this. I get that I am coaching and working with people day in and day out and telling them that they are awesome for having polyamorous or non-monogamous relationships and that they should really own what they want and own their power. But even saying that to other people, I had never been able to give myself the same permission. Because for me, in my head, there was always this narrative about needing to be a good man. And frankly, as somebody who is more predominantly attracted to men, I didn't want to become one of those gays. Those gays are the ones who we see in popular culture. The ones out dancing till 4 a.m., going to orgies with dozens of people, booty bumping, some cocaine up their ass, and having too many margaritas. I wanted to show the world how I could be heteronormative, fully traditional, but also at the same time be queer. I wanted to prove that being gay didn't necessarily mean fucking dozens of strangers in a month or a week or a night, depending on how it goes. I wanted to prove that gay relationships weren't measured in months, but could be measured in lifetimes. I wanted to show my mom that I could grow up and be the man that she wanted me to be when I was a boy. And I had no idea the immense shame I was carrying around about my desires. Because let's be honest, I haven't always actually been that good of a boy. The week after my wedding, with my husband's blessing, I went to a sex club in Paris and a bathhouse. On our first date, I pulled my dick out in the restaurant with people standing 2 and 3 feet away and waved it at them. We had Skype sex on the balcony of a hotel in Mexico with my parents, my brother, and my aunt and uncle on the other side of the glass, with just the curtain drawn, before we even had a first date. I think there's probably more people on the internet who've seen pictures of my penis than have not. Like, I'm really not as vanilla as I've been trying to convince myself. And so my husband, bless his heart, tried calling me out on my bullshit. And I will say, I am very grateful that he was able to say it in a way that I was able to hear and adjust to. But it wasn't easy. I spent much of the last week in bed, meditating, feeling sick, grieving, like feeling like this huge thing was coming through. Call it a death, call it a rebirth, call it a whatever you want to call it. Part of me was having to fall away. Now, if you happen to catch the ill-begotten YouTube live session I led on Sunday, where I talked about, oh my gosh, my marriage might be ending, all this is being foisted upon me, I ended up deleting it immediately afterwards. Normally I save them so people can watch my classes afterwards, because I realized I wasn't telling even half the story. I made it seem like, oh my gosh, all these things are happening outside of me and I'm learning to have to juggle them. I'm learning like I have to expand to embrace this new part of my identity in order to thrive with my husband. But frankly, that's bullshit. This is my shit. This is my stuff I get down, my trauma, my feelings of fear and inadequacy and shame that all come around this wanting to connect sexually with others but being afraid of it. It's my shit that I get to own about what it means to be a virile, sexual, fully embodied human being. Because frankly, this week it's felt like there has been a war going on inside of me. The programmed, nice guy who I've always been sort of persona, fighting against this emerging, sexually fulfilled, vibrant, virile person. And the old me, the one that's been dying, is saying, oh my god, no, you can't do those things, you can't be that, you have to be a nice guy. And the new me is saying, fuck yeah, I can be whatever I want. And it's just amazing to me that as much as I talk about this shit day in and day out, that I still haven't given myself permission to do it. So in that misbegotten YouTube live video that I've deleted, I talked about me and my husband having to reconfigure our relationship. And it's true. The relationship, the marriage we've had is over, in a sense. And we are now consciously forging a new one. Setting new parameters, taking new vows, being more open about who we are and what we want, and saying, I want you to be rooted in your authentic self. I want you to be wild, ecstatic, crazy, fulfilled, living your truth. Because so often we don't give ourselves permission to do just that. We don't let ourselves be free, untethered, living out there in the way that we imagine. When I was a younger guy, I remember walking along the shore of Lake Michigan, right on campus at Northwestern University, and seeing this man with a crowd gathered around him. He had long hair and was wearing a sarong and was bare-chested. He was beautifully muscled and doing some sort of like acrobatic stuff for the audience. And even me then, little frightened 23-year-old me, closeted, afraid of his sexuality, never been kissed, never been fucked, never fucked. Even then I knew that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be this sexy, in his body, beautiful, untamed, feral, sort of primal energy. And thankfully, I chose a life partner who was giving me permission to connect with that. So as I sit here on YouTube in my very own version of the sarong, the black kilt, forsaking pants, forsaking traditional bifurcated garments that cover my genitals and keep me constrained, I say fuck yeah. Fuck yeah to vulnerability. Fuck yeah to living ecstatically. Fuck yeah to admitting yourself the parts that you didn't really want to admit. Because we are all these vibrant, amazing creatures. If only we give ourselves the permission to be. So, an ecstatic thank you to my husband, my amazing life partner who encourages me to press into my boundaries even when I don't want to. And thank you to the universe and my spirit guides for giving me the energy to go through this transformation. And thank you to you for taking the time to listen to my story and to be on your own journey. Because when we each of us do our own work to grow and open and heal and become who we're meant to be, the world benefits. I've always heard that if you want to make the world a better place, start from here. and work outwards. So this is me. I'm Kay. I am a proudly sexual, virile man, and I am thrilled to be sharing some of my journey with you. If you have any comments, questions, or care to see more, if you have any comments, questions, or any follow-ups from today's video, please feel free to shoot me an email, a DM on social media, carrier pigeon. Let me know how things are going for you. And if this is something you feel called to work on in your own life, please feel free to reach out for me as a coach or guide to work one-on-one. Thank you for your time and energy. It is a pleasure to be on this ecstatic journey with you. Namaste. Now go out there and be sexy, y'all.